Low network connection. Okay, connection available. What's up, Facebook family? How are you? I hope everyone is well today on this Saturday, July 13th. So I'm on quickly. I'm on my way to Target. I'm going to the beach today. I have not been to the beach this summer at all. But I wanted to talk to you guys about self-defense. So there's a video of a stabbing that occurred in New York City on the subway. I'm not sure. It's on my page. There's a clip embedded in a couple of news articles, but the full video is on my page as well. And I can't do it right now, but I'm gonna do a video on my YouTube channel where I can actually embed the video and show you and pause it and show you what I'm about to talk about. All right. The first thing that we need to understand is that stand your ground laws are not available in every state. Okay, so that stand your ground defense, meaning that I do not have to retreat. If I am threatened, I can defend myself. That is available in 34 states in New York, and it's different in, not New York, in the United States. It's not available here in New York City. We do not have the stand your ground defense. And in the states where it is available, the 34 states that do have stand your ground laws, is different in every state. Like, for instance, I believe in Pennsylvania, in order for you to stand your ground, the aggressor, the person that is threatening you, has to have a weapon. They have to have a weapon in order for you to use deadly force against them. All right, so let's talk about the subway video. Oh, so many of you infuriated me with your comments, which is why I'm doing this video, because too many of you said I would have did the same thing. I would have did the same thing if you threatened me, or if you attack me from behind, or you grab me, or you spray me with pepper spray. I'm gonna stab you to death and kill you. Is that what y'all are saying? I'm really trying to understand, because I'm looking at some of the comments from that post that I put up, and y'all look crazy. Y'all look crazy. Just like both of these women, one who is now dead and the other one who is now in prison. Or I say jail. She's not in prison yet. She's in jail. Without bail, she was remanded. So it looks like there was an altercation on, I guess, the 203 train. As the two women left the train, the video captures them coming through the turnstile, exiting the train. Why is this important? This is important because at this moment, they're not near the tracks, right? And so there is no thought that this woman could throw me onto the tracks and I could die, right? So let's remove that, because I know it's a couple of you going, "It's the train," and maybe she thought, no, we gonna talk about thoughts in a second, but let's talk about where we are. They are past the turnstile now. They are leaving. They are exiting the train. They are not by the tracks, right? So the woman in the bonnet who was ultimately killed, she grabs the woman that ultimately has a knife, the 20-year-old girl. She grabs her from behind and she commences to whooping her ass, right? Or at least she throws a couple of blows. It wasn't really no ass whooping. She threw a couple of blows. I'm watching and I'm thinking, okay, she got a lick. She got a couple of hits off of you. Now, there's a moment where the 20-year-old girl, she goes to leave. It looks like she's trying to leave, and at one point she reaches into her bag. This is the point where I think she retrieves this weapon. I don't know if it's a knife. It looks like a knife on the video, but I didn't slow it down or send it over to my videographer, like, enhance this shit, I want to see. But it looks like a knife. In any event, the way that she was swinging it, it looks like a knife. Maybe it was a pair of scissors. I'm not sure. In any event, she reaches into her bag, and then she turns and she goes towards the woman in the bonnet. That's what reignites the fight, because at one point the fight looks like it's over. The woman in the bonnet is off camera. You can't see her. That's when you see the 20-year-old girl reach into the bag. She then approaches her, the woman in the bonnet, and then she tries to leave, right? So maybe she just went to threaten her, like, "Look, I got a knife. You better stay fuck away from me," or whatever may have you. Whatever that was, that was your opportunity to leave, but you didn't. Instead, you produced a deadly instrument. You produced a deadly knife where there was no threat on your life. There was no imminent threat that you would be harmed or killed. And not just harmed like you got a punch in the face, but I mean seriously injured, maimed, or, something like that. You have to have serious physical injury. You can't just think, oh, you're going to punch me in my face, I get to kill you. That's not how self-defense works. I'm sorry, guys. It just doesn't. All right? And now with the law being different in New York, right, they passed it's now legal for you to possess a knife in New York. You can possess a knife. It used to be criminal possession of a weapon. It used to be a crime. So more people will probably carry knives. But what I want you to understand that is just because you have it doesn't mean you need to use it. Right? And I know somebody put on there, it's better to have it and not need it than need it and not have it. But you need to know when you can use it if you have it. And the only time you can use deadly force against someone is if you believe that you are in danger of dying. Right? You are dying. Someone is killing you. And the only way, or about to kill you, or attempting to kill you in some way. Now, when it comes to what's in the mind of people, we have to look at this. I think she tried to stab her and leave. That's why she was holding back. Pia, it's possible, but that's my point. That's not self-defense. Okay, that's not self-defense. Self-defense is only when you are under the immediate threat of death or serious bodily injury. And that is when the law allows you to defend yourself or others. If you believe subjectively on a reasonable person standard, and we'll come back to that, that person is going to be hurt or you're going to be injured or killed. Now, she's in a fight. I don't care if there's nothing about that video that says to me that the woman who was punching that ultimately died was going to kill her. Now, there's somebody who's like, well, what if you were allergic to pepper spray and somebody spray? Come on, man. You cannot do that. What we cannot do is have every possible contingency in a situation. Right? We got to deal with the facts as they are, not as they could be. Right? It's not whether or not was she allergic to pepper spray and then all of a sudden she was dying and the girl kept spraying her. Shh, die, like you're a roach or some shit and you got the Raid can and you're like, shh, you about to die. That's not what's happening. Michael Green, cops get away with it all the time. You're right. And the reason they get away with it is because they can articulate that they subjectively believe that they were in fear of their lives. She's not going to be able to articulate that. You're looking at the video, right? She's not going to be able to express to any person that I thought this woman was going to kill me. I mean, and that be reasonable. It has to be reasonable. Right? So we've got this subjective standard and we've got an objective standard, right? The objective standard is when things are cut and dry. There's a bright line rule. We don't have that, right? We have a subject standard. What subjective standard? What is in the mind of the person at the time, right? And that subjective standard, we apply reasonability to it. Is it reasonable for you to think at that moment you were going to die? No. And when it comes to police officers, the standard is the same, but it's a reasonable cop standard, right? It's a reasonable cop standard. What if it were a man attacking her? If it were a man attacking her, still, it depends. If he had been 8 feet tall and 700 pounds, right? And you can see that the physical characteristics are such that you are as a woman, you have no recourse but to take a weapon so that you can defend yourself, because someone that size against you with that type of strength very well could kill you, right? Very well could kill you. Would you represent her pro bono? Cause no. They gonna railroad her. Well, no, not representing nobody pro bono. She calmly dug in the bag and pulled the knife. That's right, Shay, and that's the problem, right? Because self-defense doesn't allow you to do that. It does not allow you to do that. If you have an opportunity to walk away, you must walk away. In a state that doesn't have a stand your ground law, you have a duty to retreat. You have a duty to retreat, unless you're in your home, which is different, right? If you're in your home, it's a different thing. because you have the right to protect your family, right? So you don't have to retreat in your home if there is deadly force. You can defend yourself. But if you are on the street or you are in the train station, you have to retreat. If you believe you are in fear of your life, you're going to be killed. Therefore, that belief is on the person who is defending themselves. That alone may be the reason she took the light. No, I mean, deja vu. The problem with that is, like I said, it has to be reasonable. It's not just what your crazy ass think is subjectively the right answer at the time, right? It's because everybody will have a different subjectivity. So your subjectivity has to be reasonable. And at that time, it was not reasonable for her to conclude that her life was in danger, such that you had time. I'm sorry, y'all know you had time to stop, reach in your bag, take out a knife, and then you became the aggressor at that point. You went towards her. Why? She wasn't attacking you at that point. And then when you tried to, menace her or accost her, and then you tried to slide to the left, she didn't let that happen and she grabbed you. And at that point, you had the knife out and you just commenced to stabbing. This woman was pulling on your arm and she was punching you. She wasn't choking you out. You weren't losing consciousness. You know what I'm saying? It's different. This subject is so misunderstood. It's true, Lori. It's very misunderstood. People think that you can just react. You cannot. You cannot just react. You must react in kind. You must react with equal force. Okay? And so the only time you get to level the playing field on equal force is if, like someone said, I'm a woman. I'm a diminutive woman. I'm small. I'm 5'1" and I'm 100 pounds. And you are Shaq. I'm stabbing you, right? Because that's going to be the equalizer. My knife is going to make me your size, right? And so that's the equal force. Otherwise, I cannot defend myself against you. I'm going to try to look at these comments, guys, because I really want to be responsive today. She was 20. She should have ran like her life was on the line. I agree. She should have ran. She wanted to retaliate. Well, that retaliation is not self-defense. Retaliation is a crime, right? Is you intending to commit a crime. And while I say it's manslaughter, they very well could charge her with murder, right? Which is you taking out the bag shows that you are aware, right? That's intent. You are aware that you are about to possibly cause someone death or serious injury. And you do, and you still, and you actually do. And it's really tragic because the other side of it, and we'll come back to this for a second, and I stop the comments so that I don't miss anything. But on the other side, we see two black women in a train station who can't, for the life of them, figure out that there's a better way for them to handle whatever their discord is. Whatever it is, there's a better way. And I think the one in the bonnet who died, she was the older woman, and I put that on her because she should have handled it. She should have handled it differently, right? But I will never say she deserved what she got. And some of you have said that. Some of you have said she deserved what she got, and I really have to pause because I'm thinking, okay, I might be an asshole. I might even start a fight, but do you think I deserve to die? Because I started a fight or because I didn't manage my anger well? Yeah, no, I'm not with that. But the juxtaposition is the Naomi Osaka and Serena Williams, the exchange that they had, right? So we see two women who can't manage their anger, and then we see two women who are showing and expressing to us what it is to be a sisterhood. Right? For black women. This is what it looks like. And thank you, Serena Williams, for showing us and being the example for young women that are coming behind us so that they understand that we see you, we love you, we big you up, we appreciate you, and we apologize if something that we did took away from your greatness in any way. We've got to be that. We've got to be those type of women, right? I'm 47 years old. I think it's incumbent upon me to be that type of woman for anyone who's coming behind me. It is. And so I couldn't find myself in a physical fight on the train. Are you serious? Are you serious? It would never get to that. It should never have come to that. Is there any info about what train it happened? I think it was the 2 or 3 train. Were they fighting on the train? I heard they were arguing on the train. After the girl pushed her from the back, but she walked away, the girl did it again in her back. Okay, this is New York City, not Florida. She deserved life for her life. Nobody. Oh, you're talking about the 20-year-old. She deserves life. I don't think she deserves life. I don't. The penalty for manslaughter, depending on the type of manslaughter, could be anywhere from probation up to 15 years. Obviously, murder is the consequences are far greater. You can react. They just have to deal with the consequences. Yeah, Jen. I obviously you can react, and I guess I've always told you to manage your expectations, and also to understand that whatever action, there will also always be an equal and opposite reaction, equal force. But if a burglar comes into your home without a gun, but you shoot him, I told you it's different in your home. You have the right to defend your family. You do not have to stand your ground. You do not have to retreat in your home. Yes, you can shoot a burglar in your home if you have a licensed firearm. Remember, in New York, you do not have, this is not an open carry state. This is not lax gun laws. You need to have a license to have a firearm in New York. So even if you lawfully kill someone who's trying to break into your home and threaten your family, you're going to jail for gun possession. So you get off for murder or manslaughter or whatever may have you. But in New York, the minimum for a gun possession is 3.5 years, and it doesn't matter who you are. It doesn't matter what your criminal history is. Okay, you could never have been arrested before in your life. If you have a gun and you get arrested in New York, you're facing 3.5 years. You could have a legal gun from another state. Don't bring that shit here. Don't bring it to New York. They will lock you up, and you will be facing 3.5 years with your legal gun that you brought here from another state. Don't do it. Don't do it. This needs to go viral. Each one teach one, sis. Thanks, Greg. I appreciate that. What made me so angry was there were so many men there. Yeah, Pia, I agree with you. And I get why people don't want to be involved and why people don't inject themselves into things, because they don't want to be on the receiving end of a stab wound on their jugular. I get that. But we have become a nation of bystanders. We have become a nation of bystanders where we at no point think that it's okay for us to intervene. And we've got to get past that. We've got to get past that. And at some point, you got to self-sacrifice. And maybe if someone had intervened, maybe if someone, had stepped in and tried to de-escalate the situation, this 12-year-old little boy would still have his mom. Right? Because at the end of the day, when we talk about these stories, there's real families. There are real families who are affected by these stories. And this woman had a 12-year-old son. 12-year-old son. So somebody's got to explain to him that your mother didn't manage her anger and someone killed her in the train station. And that's a horrible, horrible reality to have to grow up with as a child. It's just wrong. Hip-hop culture is all about being tough and mean. Yeah, if you haven't seen my commencement speech to the high school graduation, the Mets charter school high school graduation, one of the things I said to them was, be kind. Be kind. And I know everyone laughed at the Democratic candidate on the stage at the debate when she said, we need more love. You know what the truth is? We do. We do. If everyone moved on the frequency of love, can you imagine how very different this country would be? I know, maybe it's, utopian and I don't know, I'm dreaming, but if we all moved on the frequency of love, damn, things like this wouldn't happen. It just wouldn't. No, more like 3 to 5 years. I'm not sure what that means. I'm sorry, y'all. I really want to be responsive to the questions because I get a lot of slack that I don't look at the comments. Is there ever a situation in self-defense a law enforcement officer loses his life and the person defending themselves is absolved? I saw it on BET. I would imagine it has happened. I don't know anything. This is a response to Reginald Dawson. I don't know of any case offhand. I know that the BET show, I can't remember the name. In Contempt. Good show. I wish they would bring it back. I really did. I like that show. There was a hypothetical situation in which a young boy who was being choked out by the police and had his, I think he had his windpipe crushed, was able to take the gun from the police officer and shoot him, and the police officer died. Now, obviously, this is TV, and he was acquitted on TV, but I could see a situation like that where someone could be acquitted. But again, the factual circumstances would have to be such that that person would have to demonstrate that they were about to die. I mean, literally about, like, I'm going out. You know, if you've ever been choked or you've ever been denied oxygen, you know, that moment where you start to feel like you about to pass the fuck out. Yeah, in that moment, when you grab the gun and you shoot the officer, I think you got a shot there. I think that does happen. I think that but it's probably not reported much. You know, the media does a lot of filtering as to what information you get and don't. Here we go, pointing out the men being around. Turkin, why can't we point out the men being around? I mean, listen, I am a very old-fashioned woman when it comes to just how I view things, and I do think men are our protectors. I expect that from you, and I don't manage my expectations when it comes to that. And unfortunately, that means that I'm often disappointed, right, when it comes to, and particularly black men, protecting black women. I charge you. That's your fucking job, and I don't care that you don't like it. But that's your job. It's your job as a black man. And the men that were standing around, shame on them. Shame on them. Because how hard would it have been for you to grab her arm? I mean, I don't know. People don't want to inject themselves into, and you know, how many bystanders have you known who tried to help someone and then they died, right? So I get it, but you know, when you don't do anything and you don't act, shit like this happens. All right, I'm too old to be feuding with anyone. Hello, I'm telling you. And the girl with the bonnet on, she was fighting with her bag. You got a pocketbook on your arm, like you're not even. I don't know. I bet someone pulled out their phone and filled it. Yeah, the video's on my Facebook page. Thank you, Mimi. You have to make a conscious decision. Set your intention to move on the frequency of love every day. If you say that before you step out your door, it will shape and inform how you behave. And I promise you, behavior begets behavior. It really does. Behavior begets behavior. So if you move on the frequency of love, then you very well may infect the person next to you to move on the frequency of love. We have that power. We have the power to change our collective consciousness. We do, but we have to be aware that we have the power, and then we have to act on that awareness. Some people don't internally have the capacity to love due to severe mental illness. Kevin King, that's true. I think that I wouldn't say that they don't have the capacity to love because of mental illness. I would say that the mental illness probably blocks their ability, not capacity, their ability. Because I like to think that everyone has the capacity to love, and love for so many people is different, and so maybe they don't have outward expression toward people, but maybe they love pets, or maybe they love music, or maybe, you know, so they have the capacity. Love is a frequency, and so I think people have the capacity to tap into that energy, even if their ability is otherwise compromised. We're on constant attack. It's hard to walk in love and defense. You know, it's not hard. It's hard if you say it's hard. Because words have meaning. And it's not hard if you just do it. Just be. Right? Just be. Be that person. Say, that is who I am. I operate on the frequency of love. And that's it. Be that person. Is the young woman involved in the stabbing being charged anything? She's been charged with, I believe, murder, manslaughter, and I don't know if she's even being charged with criminal possession of a weapon because, like I said, possession of a knife is legal. Some women don't listen to men. A lot of women don't listen to men. So what? That means what? You get to stand on no. New York State has the Castle Doctrine. Can you talk about that? Castle Doctrine is what I just said. You have the right in your home. When you're home, right? Equate your home with your castle. That's what the Castle Doctrine talks about. When you're in your home, you do not have the duty to retreat. That means that if someone is threatening your family or something to that effect, you have the right to use deadly force. The Castle Doctrine does not apply to the Mercedes-Benz in your driveway. Let me just say that, right? Let me just say one more time. The Castle Doctrine does not apply to the X5 in my driveway. It doesn't. So if someone is in my driveway trying to break into my car, no, I do not get to run out my house and shoot them. Sorry, that's not how it works, okay? Don't get this shit twisted. You'll be in there talking about, Ike said if I'm in my house and somebody trying to break in, then I can shoot them. No, I said your house. Breaking into your house, not breaking into your car, all right? Castle Doctrine does not extend to your car. It is just your home, and you better have a legal firearm. All right. Otherwise, like I said, even if you defend yourself under that doctrine, you still can go to prison for illegal possession of a firearm. And in New York, that's 3.5 years in state prison. 3.5. That's the minimum, by the way. 3.5 to 15 is the max. Right. And if you're a predicate felon, that means that you have a prior felony conviction within the past 10 years. The minimum for you, my friend, is 5 years. Right? And if that felony conviction happens to be violent, like a violent felony conviction, like you had a gun before, that's a violent felony, then the minimum for you, my friend, is 7 years. Right, 7 years. Y'all hearing what I'm saying? The gun laws in New York are that strict. That strict. All right, I'm gonna scroll up because I wanna end a little bit. In a little bit. When they were in the physical altercation, men were around. I saw the footage, not women. I usually do. I'm concerned frowns to smiles. Thank you, Mimi. I appreciate your energy. Providing valuable info. Thank you, Al. I'm trying to do my part, King. I appreciate mine. I appreciate you too, sis. Hey, Nikhil. I haven't seen you in a long time, King. How you doing? How do I contact you for service? You can shoot me an email, Ikesha, at Ike Speaks. IkeSpeaks@gmail.com. IKESPAKS. IkeSpeaks@gmail.com, and make an appointment to come in for a consultation. So I hope this cleared up some of the things. I was really disturbed by some of the comments. I don't want y'all to go to prison. I really don't, because y'all think that you are engaging in appropriate acts of self-defense. I don't want you to go to jail for that. Okay, it's never self-defense if you have time to reflect, right? If you have a moment of reflection, that means that you are not acting on the emotion of the event, right? Because you had an opportunity to reflect. And if you have an opportunity to reflect, that means you have an opportunity to calm down, you have an opportunity to leave, you have an opportunity to go home, and you have an opportunity not to engage the person who you believe is threatening you. All right, and it looks like she had an opportunity to reflect, and her reflect was like, I got this knife in my bag. I'm about that life. I'm about to get this knife. And that was the wrong move. She should have just left. Or, let me just say this before I go. Or you shoot a fair one, right? And this is where I'm from. I'm from the days where you just throw up your hands, throw your dick beaters up, and let's shoot a fair one, right? And guess what? I might get my ass whooped. And that's what I think these kids today, they don't know what it's like to take a L. You might get your ass whooped, but you know what? You're going to live to fight another day. You live. You might even be friends with that person in a day or two or a month or a year. You never know. Right? So, we've got to get it. We've got to, listen, I go back to times where we just fight. You want to fight? Shoot a fair one. I remember many times my mother was like, you got a problem with that? We about to go, let's go. Go to that person's house, knock on the door, come outside. Mother's right there. They need to go ahead and have this fight. And our mothers would sit there and watch us fight. Get that shit out. Get it all out. And when y'all finish, that's it. It's over. Now it's over. No more. And that's the way we resolved things back then. I'm sorry. I know people think fighting is never the answer. You know, sometimes fighting is the answer. Sometimes fighting resolves some shit. You know, back in the day, at least it did. You know, when you went to school the next day and shit was over, and you took a L, you took a L. You took a L. And you got teased for it. And it made you, and it gave you character. Right? Didn't it make you who you were today? You lose a fight. You win one, you lose some. Come on, that's the lesson that we teach our children. You can't win everything. I don't know. Hey, Erica. Thank you, sis. You are great too. But you live to a fist fight, and typically, oops, I don't know what I did. Typically, nobody dies. Nobody dies. So I hope that clarifies some things on self-defense. I gotta go run some errands. You already know. That's right. And you're still alive. You're alive to fight another day, right? So to speak. But I'm praying for both of those families and sending out hopefully energy, light, and love to both families, because both of these women are now the one who passed, her family is in turmoil. And the other one, her family is now trying to figure out just how they're going to find competent defense for her. Because I think that the defense attorney, and I hate talking about lawyers, but they get on my fucking nerves, right? I can't stand lawyers. I know it's a little antithetical, right? But I read a couple of the comments that the lawyer who was representing her said is something about she took the knife from the other woman, and I'm like, okay, that definitely would change the situation, but I don't think that that's what the video shows. And maybe he didn't see the video before he opened his mouth, but I think a lesson to all defense attorneys on press cases is, I'm gonna tell you, like I tell my clients, shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. And I say that for the new lawyer for Harvey Weinstein. Bitch, shut the fuck up. I'm sorry. You want to tell everybody about how much venom you got and how you gonna cross-examine all these sexual, these rape victims and shit. Shut the fuck up. And in fact, he should fire her. She should have several seats, because she's already telegraphed her defense, and that shit is not gonna work. Now, move on. But anyway, I say all of this to say, New York City, no, stand your ground. California, no, stand your ground. Some places that do have stand your ground is a very stringent standard. It just is not like, oh, I just can shoot whoever I want. That's not how it works. You must respond in kind, equal force. That is what self-defense is. Okay? I hope that this clarified. I hope it helps. You could get yourself hurt breaking up. Yeah, we went over that. You absolutely can, Drew. You can, but you could also save somebody's life. Right? So if we're going to play that game about, if it was a fifth, we'd all be drunk, then we've got to play it to the end. Right? And so you could get hurt, but you also could save somebody's life. And so coming into a volatile situation, parties involved are aggravated and ready to come. Yeah, I agree. Are you prepared and ready to deal with that? Right? And that's an individual assessment that each person has to make for themselves, as to whether or not they are prepared to deal with that. Am I going to get involved in this, or I'm just going to whip out my phone and document it, right? Some people are just, bystanders. Others are not. And there are enough people who will get involved. You've seen people who fall in the train tracks, and you see people jump in the tracks and get them and put them and help them up. They put themselves in great harm for their fellow person. Right? The white guy shot the brother and got away with it. All right. I don't know what that is, but we'll talk about more stuff later. Like I said, this was about self-defense so that people could be clear, very clear on what is appropriate self-defense in New York City. And I don't think that video was a depiction of it. I'm sorry. I don't. And I think that this young woman will be facing some serious time. Are there mitigating circumstances? Of course. But she likely will be doing some jail time. Somebody is dead. Somebody's dead. Somebody's family is planning a funeral. And that cannot be lost on anyone. All right? All right, family. I love you. I really do. Ike Speaks. Have a great Saturday. Don't drink and drive. Don't stand your ground. Don't stab people. And be kind. Be kind today. If you do nothing else, be kind. Move on the frequency of love. I assure you it will pay you great returns. All right? I love you. I really do. Ike Speaks. Peace.